let's talk about inspirations real quick. What kind of helped mold your craft and stuff? Like, like you said, you're a hip hop guy. I don't know if that even helps you with some of your other like tracks. Cause I did like I don't know if it was called Foolin'. I already forgot the name of it.
Yeah, full.
Full. So I remember like in that song, like me and my friend were checking it out before he took off, and like he was like, "Oh, this guy's like rapping a little bit too," and I'm like, "All right, that's pretty interesting and such." And so that's why I kind of want to see where your influences and inspirations came from.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, now I write mostly R&B, but it's tough for me to not start writing raps. My words it still can be very wordy because I'm so in the habit of writing hip hop, even though it's been years since I've been like putting hip hop at the forefront of my music. And hip hop, like even Beggin sounds like a '90s boom bap track. So hip hop is very much a part of what I do and who I am. The biggest influences on my music, definitely the boy band era. NSYNC, of course. I love Justin. I love Justin's agility. I love his sense of rhythm. I love Michael. Just the way they ride beats and the way they're just so in the pocket. I love it. I love the harmonies of the boy band era. I love Max Martin. I love all the pop arrangements and the dynamics, knowing exactly when something should appear and exactly when to take it out. It's just this perfectly ornate, and efficient way from the beginning to the end of the story, and it's never boring. It's never too much, but it's always very lush and full. It's very maximalist. I love Timbaland for something similar. His drums are ridiculous. I love Dark Child, Stevie Wonder. I don't know, man. I get inspiration from a lot of different places, for different reasons.
No, absolutely, and it's funny because I remember when Ariana Grande came out with that last album that was like taking over the world at one point, and I think it was like "Break Up with Your Boyfriend," that track, and they had that NSYNC sample in there, and I remember I was listening with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and when that bridge came up, I was like singing word for word, and she was like, "Oh, you've been listening to this album?" I'm like, "No, you just don't understand it. The sample is something else. I like it."
Yeah, and it's cool that she picked that one because she's a fan. Like, it makes me ill as far as B-sides go, one of the bigger ones, but it is still a B-side. So, she's like, it's real. She didn't pick Bye Bye Bye.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's not something common, and I love that part about it. So, shout out to her for that. Damn, man. So, let's talk about Beggin. You released it today. Although this video is not going to come out for maybe a month or so, just because I have a bunch lined up to space them out. But Beggin, how exhausted were you running shooting that thing?
I was running like a quarter mile an hour. I was like just enough to make my upper body look like I'm moving, but I was just trotting along. So unfortunately, it didn't exhaust me too much. If anything, it made it easier to be on camera because I wasn't like overthinking anything because my body was preoccupied.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was still a good video, man. Run us through a little bit about what the song was about for those that are too lazy to think for themselves. And, and also, how was it, shooting for the production and everything? Really good production.
Thank you. So, the song itself is about the moments when you get to... It's about the moment in a relationship where you realize things are not what you want them to be. My bad. It's about the moment in a relationship where you realize things are not what you want them to be, and it's entirely your fault. And that you have to make a choice now if you're going to accept this for yourself now. And what we did with the video, it wasn't really at all about the relationship. It was more about the path. And that's why I'm running on a road. It's like, this is the path that I'm on. This is how I got here. And all it is me running through my subconscious. And so we pass up all these different people who are just different pieces of me with different just like it starts with a little kid, and he's like this full. He's got the flower and it's full, and he's all very happy. And then we move forward into this person who's very angry, and then we move forward into this person who's very sad and kind of introvert, doesn't know what to do with their emotions. Then we move forward into another person about, hey, can I actually call you right back? I have a little bit of an emergency real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I'll call you right back.
No worries.
You keep begging, cause you know that I can't say no. And I know that we've been down this road before. Every time I get the strength to let go, you keep coming back to me, running back to me, yeah. You know I'm a people pleaser. You see my need to be needed. You pray I'm all
So, the idea of the video is that I'm running through my subconscious. And there's the constant of me and all the characters that you see is this white rose, and the white rose represents this purity that once was. It's this the self-love. And I used the white rose on the cover of my EP in 2017, which had a fool on it, called Love Over Fear. So I've been using it since then as a kind of a motif, as a constant throughout my music. And so I'm running through my subconscious, and I'm running past this child who's got the rose, and it's this full rose, and he's like smiling and literally stopping to smell the roses. And I run a little further, and you see this next person who's actually my younger brother, and he's this angry version of me. He's very angry at the world and doesn't understand like what's going on, and he's just not happy with the way things are going. And then as I run a little further, we get to this next person, and he's clearly sad, but he just looks very numb. He just looks like he doesn't know how to process these emotions, and he's just the petals in the flower are just floating away in the wind, and he's not really doing anything about it. The next person we see then is my friend Jay, and he's like this R&B singer. He's this cool guy, and he's got his ego up, and he's like, I'm the ladies' man, and he just, putting up this front like everything is fine, and he's cool. And really all that person is just projecting their insecurities on people, and just like a person who's not whole, clearly, because we see the trauma, and they're just putting their shit on other people. Can we curse?
Oh yeah, of course. I don't give a shit.
Sweet. And the next person we see is also angry, but it's different because it's more internal. It's a person who's angry and frustrated, but they're aware at this point, like, I'm the cause of what's going on in my life. I'm the reason that things are going wrong, and so they're just, it's a deep frustration now. They're upset with how their life is gone. And the last person that we see is a gentleman named Jacob, who's a friend of mine. He's about 50, and so he's got this rose in his hand, and the rose has like 3 petals left on it, and he just has this look on his face of like despair and confusion and loss, like, how did I allow myself to get to this place? Mm-hmm. So as I run through all these people, and we see the rose just deteriorate with all of them as I get older, and we see the different parts of how I got to where I am, I get to the end of the road, and I stop running, and the camera continues to move a little bit slow, but I decide I'm not going to accept this anymore. I can't remain on this path. And so I toss the rose aside, and that's just me saying, like, okay, at this point, I can no longer be the person that I was. And the other detail to pay attention to is that the color in the video fades to black and white. It starts out in full Technicolor, and by the end of it, it fades to black and white, which is 2 things. One, it's the vibrancy of the beginning of the life kind of fading as we lose sight with that original self, as we lose sight of who we once were, and it goes to this dull place now. But also the clarity that comes with it being black and white. Because when things are black and white, it's like, okay, this is exactly who you are right now. There's no judgment, no anything. It's just like a matter of fact, like, this is who you are, this is how you got here. What are you going to do about it? And the very last thing is a decision, is tossing the flower aside. Okay, like, this is the one constant between me and all these other people that I've been. Like, what if I got rid of this? What would I be then? And that's where we end the video.
Yeah, absolutely. No, man, it was pretty dope, man. What's it called? Yeah, like, it's funny because it was their first time listening to your music in general. So being able to kind of like correlate with and like translate some of the things that were done, but even before I get a word out, they're just saying like, dude, this guy's actually a pretty good singer, because they're rap dudes. They're like full on rap dudes. So that's why I like hearing like just like sing-songy stuff. It was like, like, this is actually a really good one. Like, I wouldn't mind putting this in a playlist. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, man. Thank you.
No worries, man. So, let's talk about your love life real quick. On top of that note, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, what's your status for now? You're single? You're in a relationship or whatnot?